Thank you for joining me for another episode. In today's topic, we're going to go over 3 exercises that you should have part of your preventative and strength mobility routine to keep the shoulders healthy. These are my recommendations for optimal pain free joint health and strength. There are 3 simple exercises. The first exercise advocates arm swing through 3 different positions. Second exercise focuses on rotation of the humerus bone. And the third phase is a shoulder blade movement, but also being strong in the shoulder blade. So the first exercise is a 3 part swing movement with the arm. So we're talking about, imagine a clock. You're putting your hands as dials. You're going 5 and 7, which is humerus extension. 9 and 3, which is horizontal abduction. And then 11 and 1, which is flexion. Along the way, the emphasis of the first exercise is a lot of scapular retraction, decompression, and that's going to create stabilization. That is the key that transfers over toward the other exercises, as well as to the bigger exercises in a macro conversation of exercise and movement. So your ability to perform these foundations builds the presses, the pushes, the handstands, the crawls, the swings, the throws, and so forth. These are the micros that builds the macros. Your inability to perform these may be also the reason why someone may have shoulder pain or some kind of imbalance from left to right and so forth. My recommendation when you do these is just do them as a part of your warm-up routine. Everybody should be exercising, so there's no reason why adding this as the warm-up or prevention. And these are also used for rehab of the shoulder. These are foundational pieces, like I mentioned. Simple but effective. The first one really focuses, like I mentioned, humerus swinging through different planes. I will show you a little progression of the exercise as well as the other two. The first exercise requires you to get a towel. We're going to roll the towel up into a burrito-like figure so that we're going to put it on our forehead as we lay on the ground. The first exercise foundational piece is understanding the engagement of the muscles as we try to move the bones. So flexibility with mobility. We're going to use gravity as the resistance. So we're going to go through 5 and 7, 9 and 3, 11 and 1, and reinforce retraction, decompression as we swing the arms through those angles. Each angle will be a different muscle groups. So 5 and 7 more tricep based with lower trapezius. 9 and 3 more pectorals, bicep because we're raising our hand to 90 degrees. So this is 0 degrees. This is 90 degrees. Flexion, which is your biceps are involved there. Now pecs are involved, but also in the back region is your middle lats. And then when you go to 11 and 1, a lot of flexion, a lot of deltoids anterior, a lot of upper trapezius. But as we do this, we want to make sure our scap is back, retracted, decompressed. That's the constant software in your head as you try to swing the arms through those angles. Little anatomy, your shoulder is composed of 3 bones. Your humerus, which is this bone, your scapula, which is your shoulder blade, and then your clavicle. Your clavicle relatively does not move. Your shoulder blade has some mobility. A lot of stability is its primary function. And then your humerus bone is a mobile but also flexible bone. The little muscles that keep the bone in locked are supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres major minor, and subscapularis. They are able to spin the ball of the humerus rotationally, glide, and rotate. They should have the space to do this functionally if you're able to retract and decompress. A common non-traumatic issue that we see currently, what's going down in the technological world in the Western Hemisphere, and anybody who is also sedentary from side view, our shoulders rotate, protract, and flex, which is a cascading effect on the other body parts. So this is causing you a misalignment. So when you try to move the humerus bone through any kind of movement, you hear a lot of crepitus, which is like grinding sensation. And that's because the scapula is in its right position, so the humerus could rotate, spin, glide, and flex, abduct, whatever it needs to do for activities of daily living, but also for exercise and performance reasons. So these three exercises, and especially the first one, will reestablish it, whether you're in balance and also up to par with general range of motion. Let's talk about the first exercise. Towel, forehead, we're going to lay on the ground. As you lay on the ground, in a 5 and 7 o'clock positioning, forehead on the towel, set yourself up. Let gravity do its work. But first thing, as we do this, we're going to retract, decompress, stabilize the muscles through the shoulder blade, scap, and then humerus extension. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down. Control the down phase. Activation phase. Decompressing, retracting, raising the arm, holding it for 5 seconds. Don't shrug. Midline will engage, your abs will activate as well. 2, 3, 4, 5. Arms down. Control downwards. Retract, decompress. Feel the muscles set themselves up as we try to swing the arm backwards past our body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down. Control down. 2 more. Retract, hold, stabilize, decompress, extend backwards, hold, don't shrug, feel the triceps, feel the lower trap. 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Relax. Last one here. Retract, decompress, stabilize, raise the arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Arms down. Relax. Set yourself up at 9 and 3. So now we're going to go horizontal abduction, which is the movement. But nothing changes. We're going to retract, decompress, feel the stability, raise those arms horizontally. 9 and 3. Don't go toward the pocket. Go toward the ceiling. 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower. And relax. Retract, decompress, feel that stability, raise those arms, gravity, hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Arm down, and relax. Good shoulder blade movement, keeping it simple terminology wise. Raise those arms, hold, get strong, don't shrug, keep those shrugging away from the ears. 2, 3, 4, 5. Arm down and relax. Shoulder blade movement back. 2, 3, 4, 5. Arm down and relax. Alright, next angle. 11 and 1. So it's flexion now. A lot of bicep, a lot of shoulders. Upper trap. Retract it, decompress it, stabilize it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Arms down and relax. Retract it,
Feel that development. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Arm down and relax. Retract. Feel that stability. Raise that arm. 2, 3, 4, 5. Arm down and relax. Retract. Stabilize. Raise that arm. 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Relax.
And that's the building block to a good, pain-free, strong, and mobile shoulder with a swingable arm, as we would say. So as we learn this foundation, and it's really simple, we're not using anything, just using our arms, fighting gravity, understanding a lot of shoulder blade retraction, decompression as we swing the arm through different angles. Once you have this understanding, we're going to build it up. So now we're going to take the arm through larger swing angles. So what you'll need is a ball or a table. So once you get the understanding on the floor, what you're going to think about positionally now is you're on your knees, which is my elbow, my fingertip is my head. So I'm going to try to stay in that positioning. It's going to engage the midline, some abs, your low back stabilizers, which kind of is a progression of neurological development. Every system neuromuscular connects and communicates with the other. So we're building neurological systems to communicate. But now we're going to swing the arms through larger angles. So the setup is you're on your knees, head to hip to knee alignment, straight line. Imagine that from my ear to my knee. Side view, we go side view here. Head, hip, knee, we're in that positioning. Show you guys different angles here. Let's go 45 slant. So another piece to this is you got to make sure you get your knees are anchored. So we're in that position. We're going to swing back 5 and 7, but with the reinforcement of retraction, stabilization, or retraction, decompression, and you'll develop that stabilization. Swing the arm 1, 2, 3, and let gravity lead you back to starting position. Retract, stabilize, or retract, decompress, and now we're going to alternate. 1, 2, 3, down, and relax. Decompress, retract, raise it, hold it for 3 seconds here now. 1, 2, 3. Boom. So the principle is the same. We're retracting the blades, shoulder blade, which is scapula, decompressing the neck muscles, putting things in the right position, alignment-wise, skeletal-wise, so the muscles then are forced to engage, and then any tightness is weakness. So your inability to swing the arms in any of these angles is the restriction and maybe the root of the shoulder blade or shoulder issue. So you're going to go through 15 repetitions, arms on your side, you swing backwards, 1, 2, 3, arm down, 1, 2, 3, arm down, retract, decompress, feel that stability, flexion, 1, 2, 3, 5 and 7, extension, 1, 2, 3, 9 and 3, horizontal abduction. So the downwards is a deceleration. We're doing like some eccentrics as well there. 1, 2, 3.
We're using speeds of life as well. 1, 2, 3. So as you do these arms for 15 repetitions, make sure you're not doing any kind of midline stabilization failure. So you don't want to flex your spine or around your low back in any kind of weird way. You're staying stable as you're trying to go through these angles. 1, 2, 3. Back down. 1, 2, 3. Back down. And once that becomes relatively easy, you know, add like some resistance so that, let's just say I have some 3-pounder weights here. These are 3-pounders. So if that's relatively easy with no weight and you want to give yourself another, you know, challenge, you do the same thing with just holding some weights. So right, decompression, retraction, feel that stability, backwards. 1, 2, 3, back down. Decompression, retraction, feel that stability, horizontal abduction, 1, 2, 3, deceleration downwards. Decompress, retract, 1, 2, 3, back down. But you don't want to sacrifice weight for really developing the stability and understanding that shoulder blade humerus alignment that needs to be in the right position so the humerus bone can rotate and really understand the longevity aspect of staying healthy in the shoulder blade. So that's the recommendation there for the first exercise. It's relatively minimal equipment if you just need a ball. But if you don't have a ball, you could also use a 45-degree table. If you don't have those things because of financial reasons, just do a couple more sets of the floor one. But ideally, we would want to progress. Just like with anything, we get bored. Our human species nature is we want to just keep progressing on and continuously stimulate the neuromuscular system so it doesn't get bored, which is another aspect of the training routine you need to develop. But anyway, so the next phase, in the second exercise of this video that I want to kind of teach you guys, that's an important aspect of keeping the shoulder healthy, is a rotation component. Once you have this understanding of retracting, decompressing, and keeping things back, the bone needs to rotate. And those are the little muscles, the supraspinatus, the infraspinatus, teres major, minor, and subscapularis. These are the muscles that we're going to really attack. To attack them, you have to do a lot of volume repetition, but stimulation-wise, you can't overwhelm with weight, because then you'll attack, or you'll have other muscle groups trying to join the party in an activation standpoint. Once you go past a certain weight, the outer muscles like the bicep is going to want to really partake in this rotation focus. So initially, we're going to start is understanding the movement. Very simple. Grab that towel that we're using for our forehead, and now we're going to place it underneath your armpit in a sideline positioning. And this sideline positioning, we want to be set up correctly linearly. So what I'm saying is your elbow needs to be underneath your shoulder, because it could be in front or back. Having a towel between your armpit, underneath your armpit, is going to separate the bone. So if we contact from your ribs. So if we took it away, you will make contact, and that's going to cause maybe some impingement there. So this is going to kind of cool decompression technique, keeping that down, but you want to make sure you're not shrugging, because we're laying on our side due to gravity. So once you're in this position, you're laying there, and then we're going to have our elbow bent 90 degrees, and then we're going to try to rotate the elbow, the wrist toward the ceiling, without shrugging, moving the elbow, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then controlling the deceleration downwards. So the goal here for the first part is understanding the movement, engaging the muscles, feeling that bone rotate externally. And those are the little muscles. 1, 2, 3. Down and pass it. That's externally. 1, 2, 3. Down and relax. 1, 2, 3. And relax. So it's not how fast you do this. It's making sure, can I move that bone? Can I feel the engagement when I hit the end range? Can I feel the bone internally rotate when I go down? Usually want to go about 20 repetitions. In between, make sure things shut off. Then once you get that understanding, you're going to want to grab a little bit of resistance to challenge the muscles from rotation, and they're the building blocks of stability. Same setup, grab something between 1 to 5 pounds. In my case, I use 3 pounds. These little bars are 3 pounds. If you don't have any weight, grab a water bottle. Most water bottles are 16 ounces. If you have something larger, like a 32 ounce, that's always a plus. Same setup, but now we're challenging it from an external force. Same setup. You try to raise it. 1, 2, 3. Down and relax. External rotation. Make sure you get that hold without flexing your wrist. Back down. Avoid any kind of work at the neck level. Keep that position correct. Make sure you're not rounding or protracting the blade forward. Nice good setup there. And all that we're doing is moving that humerus bone externally, now with a little bit of external force resistance. Back down, deceleration, control. Hold, 1, 2, 3. Back down. 1, 2, 3. Back down. Raise that wrist. Don't flex it. We rotate that humerus bone. Hold it for 3 to 5 seconds. Back down. 20 repetitions. And that's part 1 of the rotation. To progress it, we take the elbow out of its sideline positioning, which is 0 degrees, and we're going to get it up to 90 degrees. To do this, you'll bend one knee, just like I'm in a sitting position. You'll put your elbow on your knee. We'll start with the wrist over the elbow. Make sure your neck's relatively relaxed. And then when you're in this position, we're going to just decelerate the hand downwards. The weight's going to force the bone rotate internally and lift it back up. Control here, down, lift back up. So it's different to make sure the muscles in the little rotator cuff muscles need to be challenged, also need to be trained from different planes. In this case, there's 90 degrees flexion. So when we're laying on our side, it's 0 degrees flexion, transverse abdominis. Now I'm in a sagittal plane, 90 degrees elbow flexion or humerus flexion in the sagittal plane is another part of the responsibility of the rotator cuff muscles. So it's a really simple exercise. You're just sitting on your butt. You're rotating the humerus bone, controlling it downwards at a point where it might be too much, where you feel your shoulder blade change your positioning. So as you do this, nothing's really moving other than the bar that I'm holding down, about that 120 degrees. So this is 0 degrees. This is 90. Like that 120, 125 is like where I feel like, all right, can't go any further without having my body change positioning back up. It's not about weight. It's really making sure that, rotate this bone in different angles of planes of motion. The first one is the foundation. In everyday life, our arms are relatively at our side, so our elbow humerus bone is 0 degrees. And it travels 15 degrees, but now we're challenging it by bringing it up to 90 degrees and asking it to flex and extend. I mean, not flex and extend, internally rotate and externally rotate with a focus of control and going through the whole range of motion. 20 repetitions. It loves high volume. You don't want to go low. This is not hypertrophy. We're not trying to build muscle mass. These muscles are not intended to be bulky. They don't have the ability to get bulky. They have the ability to be long lasting, and its foundational piece is that. So once you understand the seated position this way, you're going to do the same thing, but now if I'm facing east, I'm going to try to rotate 90 degrees with my shoulders and try to rotate my leg a little bit out that way. It's going to change my elbow from 90 degrees flexion with 0 degrees abduction, and then we're going to try to open ourselves up to like that 45 degrees abduction to 90 degrees if you can, with elbow there, and then you let the elbow go forward or decelerating it down toward the floor, back up. So before I was squared up looking east, now I'm looking north. My arm is falling northeast. And now we're doing frontal plane of the humerus bone. (90 degrees abduction, 90 degrees flexion. And just really making sure our little muscles can operate in all those 3 different planes. So 0 degrees, 90 degrees flexion, 90 degrees abduction. And we're going to make, just as you do it, making sure really rotating the humerus bone and not going forward and back with the shoulder blade, and not going forward and back with the elbow. It's like I mentioned, keep it low on weight. If you're really having a hard time with the weight, don't do any weight till you feel you're able to do it just with your arm. Second exercise requires a foam roller. Once you're on a foam roller, we're going to go over a little shoulder blade mobility. That is an important factor to a healthy, strong shoulder. So we're going to put our hands toward the ceiling. When you're in this position, there's a straight line from my wrist to my shoulder. I'm going to let gravity do its job, and what's going to happen is my shoulder blades will wrap around the foam roller, and then I'm going to push up toward the ceiling, making my arms long as possible. Make sure your thumbs up. Initially hit neutral rotation positioning through the arm. Press up. You'll get a little bit of pec engagement, slowly decelerating. The movement is downwards as the shoulder blades wrap around. Make sure you don't get a shrug of elevation appearance at the neck level. That's going to be retraction, protraction. There are serratus punches. They really force the shoulder blade to protract, which is going to engage the serratus muscles in your ribs that attach to the shoulder blade. So nice and long, hold it for a few seconds, and decelerate. So arms going to become shorter, arms long, blades are going to be pressed away from one another. And then when you go downwards, they're going to wrap around the foam roller. That's your point where you don't have to go any further. You really understand. You're keeping the humerus bone stable. And there's this aspect of movement at the shoulder level via the shoulder blade, scapula. In Polish, as I am a Polish Highlander, that's called łopatka, so it's the shoulder blade. Once you really understand, can I do it without, or can I do it with gravity? You want to grab some weights. In this case, I'm going to grab 10 pounders. Same setup, right? Nothing changes. We're adding a little bit of tension or external force now. 10 pounds is easy. Well, remember, it's not, more weight's not necessarily better. So I'm going to press up, make the arms long, and I'm just going to decelerate downwards. Make sure I don't shrug. Press. Decelerate downwards. Press, hold it a few seconds, engaging it, downwards. Press, deceleration downwards, protraction, retraction, protraction, retraction. Using gravity with external weight, so decelerating downwards, really forcing that shoulder blade to be mobile, but also asking it to be strong. It's one of its responsibilities is to be a supporting piece in weight-bearing activity. Really easy, simple exercise. Really teaches you to move through your shoulder blade. You understand that's an important aspect of having a healthy, pain-free joint, shoulder joint. The next piece to the progression of that exercise would be just some kind of weight-bearing protraction, retraction of the shoulder blade, whether it's against the wall or against the bench. In this case, I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to do a partial knee push-up, and I'm going to do the same thing, but now with my body weight. It is a building block to gymnastic movements, calisthenics, really understanding how to set up that blade in the right position, but also have that mobility. So retracting it right here, blades touch, I press away. Control downwards, they touch, don't shrug, don't let the neck muscles participate. Make sure as you do it, also the elbows want to tend to bend. That's a sign of weakness and arm strength level weakness. So tightness is weakness, weakness is tightness. So if you're having a hard time with the push-up, wall push-up and doing it is another modification. Well, ultimately you should be able to do your body weight, because everybody should have not only the confidence to put weight into our arms, but as we age, it's an important piece to have the ability to when we do fall, not freak out and land gracefully as we can. So this is also a great piece of teaching you confidence, putting weight on the arms, don't shrug. Blade movement is blade strength, press away, protract, don't let the elbows bend. It's not about head movement, head stays still. As you move the blade, touch to each other, you'll descend downwards. few sets, few, 5, 10, 15 repetitions per set. And then these are the 3 exercises that are the key pieces to having a strong, pain-free shoulder joint. I hope you like the education and please try the exercises for your health. Please leave any comments or suggestions for future topics. Please like, subscribe, and share if you know anybody who's struggling with a shoulder issue or somebody who has shoulder surgery. These exercises are also the building blocks to most therapy, post-surgical rehab. So you might as well learn it. If you did have surgery, you're going to be doing them. So in my case, I do them because I've seen it. I've seen how it changes people who had limitations. It really just teaches you how your arms should be, how to swing, how your shoulder blades should be strong and back. And what's currently happening now with technology, we're really forced to protract, rotate, and flex, which is changing our anatomy a little bit at the shoulder and spine level. But these exercises rebalance that. We advocate reversal posture. Recommend it to everybody who's just aging. Also, please subscribe to the Patreon. Follow the gram. Hit the like button and the algo. It always helps the views. And thank you for watching.